time. Is there any reason? I mean, after that is done, or even Lyoto said that this is the first time he never talked smack, and every fight he talks, he did talk smack.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I don't manufacture conflict. I would never talk smack if I didn't mean it. Many times I've been fortunate enough to fight a guy that I don't like. Machida just seems like a nice guy. I've known him for a number of years. I never wanted to fight him, never thought I was going to fight him. Got over to Bellator, we were in different weight classes. He's running through 185. He's trying to make my mark at 205. I didn't see it coming. And I just don't make things up. When I tell you I don't like some of these guys, it's because I don't like some of those guys. We've got a bunch of scumbags in this sport, but every now and then you run into a gentleman. Machida's a gentleman. What can I do? I wish he wasn't. What can I do?
Yeah. Hey, Chael, you said you're on a Legends ass-kicking tour a while ago. You're on a good leg on that tour. Does it play any part into your training when you're going into your camp with your opponent, or it doesn't matter?
I don't get too into it for a couple of reasons. One, I'm fairly motivated as it is, and sometimes you have to create motivation. That's a very real thing. But for the most part, I'm pretty motivated. I have my goal set, and I know what I want to do, and I'm aware that the window gets smaller, right, every day for all of us, but maybe for me more so. And as far as the legends go, I like fighting those guys with names, but I don't care. It could be a 22-year-old or a 23-year-old. I don't ever get called out. If I did get called out, I would answer the call out for any of them, and the answer would be yes. I don't say things like I need title fights or I need money fights or I need... If anybody wants to fight, I am available to fight. I want to fight as well. So I don't mean that with bravado or some kind of a big challenge, but it's the reality. I don't get called out, and if I did, I would answer with a yes.
Awesome. And on Monday, you said that you had 4 fights on your contract that you fulfilled. Has anything changed since then?
No, I don't know what's going on. They either don't know that my contract's up or they're getting out of the Chael business. I don't know which one it is. Either way, I'll be content with. Everything is bigger. This is the only place I would fight. This is not my attempt to negotiate through the media. I will not negotiate through the media. My promoter is Scott Coker. My promoter will always be Scott Coker. But to share with you, as far as the signature on a paper goes, yes, we're out of round.
Chael, you fought the who's who.
Well, now you look very handsome.
Thank you very much.
I like the jacket. I
From the
appreciate
MMA
that.
Stream. My question to you is: you fought the who's who of MMA. Off the list of top 5 fighters in your career, where do you place lyoto Machida?
Well, I'll probably have to tell you after the fight, and I'll be happy to be candid with you and answer the question. Going into the fight, as far as intimidation, if you want to use that word, he's up there because he's weird. For me, he's weird. I just don't have anybody in the gym that does that. I'm from Portland. I live, born in Portland. I will die in Portland. I use whatever Portland resources are. We don't have anybody that looks like Machida. I can't even do it. I can't even try to, I don't know how to do that. And neither do my teammates. So it's unique, but he beat a couple of my friends, and I don't like that. And I'm going to come get it back.
Awesome. We also happened to meet your fight analysis partner, Ariel Helwani, in Chicago last week, and we asked for his predictions. And surprisingly, he thought Machida was going to get this one. So, do you have any comments for Ariel?
That does surprise me. No, I don't have any comments for Ariel. Look, it's a hard fight, I think, for both of us. Right? I got my skill sets that he's not going to be able to deal with, but he's got some skill sets that I'm going to have trouble with. So, I feel like that's pretty common for everybody up here, though. Everybody kind of knows what they have to do to get their hand raised. I don't think Machida's in a different spot, and I'd be surprised if he said anything different than what I was saying. If I get my hands on him, he's in trouble, and if I don't, I'm in trouble.
Awesome.
Ariel picked against me. Really?
I was actually joking just to stir up some controversy.
You damn sure did, because I was going to get a hold of him.
No, forgive me, Ariel. It didn't happen.
Okay. Fake news?
Fake news.
Fake news. Okay.
Hey, it's popular these days.
It is very popular. You're right. Par for the course.
Hey Joe, when you found out you were bumped to the co-main event slot, did that bother you? What was your reaction when you were told you would be main event and you got dropped to co-main event?
No, it did not bother me, and I must also tell you this. Whenever something happens to a guy, and he goes, oh, it's the greatest thing that ever happened to him. It's so annoying. Just tell us, man. If it hurts your feelings, just say it hurts your feelings. The title needs to go last. I believe in that. I think that the industry and I think history supports that, but I also think that it's a earned compliment to get to close the show. I think it's an earned compliment to be the main event. And, Rory McDonald is the best fighter under contract. Skill for skill, move for move. He won a world championship on one leg, just by example. And then he's taking on Gracie. Look, it doesn't hurt when your last name's Gracie and you're in the MMA business. It also doesn't hurt when you're 9-0. So, and just took out the guy that everybody thought was going to be the dark horse to win. I think it's very appropriate, in fairness.
Second time you fought at MSG, I mean, different feelings this time around, just same feelings, just the energy walking into Madison Square Garden. I mean, out there, you were like, we're going to sell out Madison Square Garden, just the overall feeling of being in Madison Square Garden again.
Yeah, it's really cool. My father-in-law came. He's never been to New York, so I was, kind of showing him New York. He's standing right by. He's having a great time. The hustle and the bustle is a little bit different. Yeah, man, the weather's nicer. It is a little bit nicer. I was in it for a grudge match last time with Vanderlei Silva. They had to keep us apart at the hotel. It was this whole big thing. Couldn't be around each other. And I'm a fan of the sport. I must tell you, my career started as a fan, it will end as a fan. I'm a fan right now. And anytime you can be done, get a popcorn, get a Coca-Cola big enough to swim in, and then watch a world title fight, it's exciting for me. I like that. I prefer that. I prefer to watch and analyze the sport more than I do to participate in the sport. And I like to participate, but I have my real enjoyment from being a fan.
Not to have any spoilers or anything or look past your opponent, we know you like to cut promos in the cage afterwards. Can we get a little hint of any plans you got afterwards?
Well, let's see here. So the only way I'll be doing a promo is if I get my hand raised. So if I beat Machida, that'll be a good moment. But, I mean, it's a number one contenders fight. That has not been hidden. The winner of this fight is going to be the next fight for Ryan Bader. I think there's a little bit of a question there. Is Ryan Bader's next fight going to be at 205 or is it going to be at heavyweight? But I expect that to be true. I expect whoever wins, whether it's me or Machida, but I suspect we'll be fighting Bader next.
So does it depend on where the title opportunity lies? Because he's the champion at both weight classes.
Yeah.
So would you prefer fighting him at heavyweight or light heavyweight?
Oh, no, for light heavyweight. It's only number one contendership for light heavyweight.
Yeah.
But to your point, I think that's really very relevant. You become the number one contender, and then the guy goes and fights what am I supposed to do? Sit around for 7 or 8 months? I don't want to do that. So I'm aware that things in this business change, but I also have a right to believe what I've been told, and I was told that the winner will fight Bader.
Awesome.
Chael, can you talk to us about your recent tweet that you tweeted out on Sunday? You said the best steak is made out of dragon meat. Can you go a little bit more in depth about that?
Sure. I don't have a great story there, but every time I have to travel a lot for work. I got to travel a lot. So every time I go to a new city, I ask my Twitter sphere to tell me where the best steak in town is. So it's just something I've been doing for years. It's very small, inside, whatever, amongst my Twitter community. But this time I told them where the best steak is. The best steak is dragon meat. Lyoto's nickname, of course, is the dragon. You see what I'm doing there, right? I mean, it's low-hanging fruit. This isn't something brilliant. But that's, to explain the joke to you, that was the joke.
How does your style contrast with Machida's? You have an elite level of wrestling. You're a former Olympic wrestler, but Machida has about an 85% takedown defense. So how do you think your styles will match up in the octagon?
Well, I don't know the answer to that, and it's concerning for me. I'm definitely a better wrestler than he is, but I can see, to your point, that his wrestling defense in MMA is fantastic. And I don't know why other wrestlers have such a hard time getting to him. I don't know. I've observed it. I know it's a real thing, and I've tried to figure it out, and I have an idea, and I have a plan, but I don't know. He's good. He's good at just not letting you get to him.
How confident do you feel about this fight?
How confident I feel? I'll tell you this. I train properly. I'm healthy. I have no excuses. Even if I did, I wouldn't tell you one. And I'm going to go get the weight off. I'll be on weight by 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. As far as confident in the fight, I've never gone into a fight confident, not one time in my life. I've only been given one easy fight in my life. It was against Tito Ortiz. And I can tell you, confidence has never served me. I'm a pessimist. I always look at the glass half full. I always go out there apprehensive. And I never know. And frankly, whenever I hear a guy say he knows he's going to win, I think he's a bully anyway. Only bullies take fight they know they're going to win. If I knew I was going to win, I wouldn't have shown up.
You've been very open about training differently as you progress through your career. How does doing a normal everyday sport like playing floor hockey or something like that, how does that break up the monotony of a training camp?
Yeah. That's an interesting trick. That got started at the Olympic Training Center. And, they would take a group of wrestlers, let's say, and then you go play a field hockey, by example. Or Frisbee golf was a big one. And an hour later, you think you're playing a game, you look down, you're covered in sweat, you're huffing and puffing, your heart rate's up. You go, oh, I see what you did there, coach. You tricked us. You tricked us into a workout. And, I think that's really effective. I don't like to do whole workouts in a different, play soccer for an hour and call it good. But, for 15 minutes, it's a great way to get. There's a lot of monotony in training, It's the same thing over and over. I see guys, they're doing CrossFit, they're doing all these things. Those things are fine. But nothing has ever trumped putting on a pair of running shoes, opening your front door, and coming back 50 minutes later. Nothing. That's just boring. That's the problem. So now you get these other gyms that have an opportunity to become businesses because people don't want to do what actually works, because what actually works is boring. So you got to mix it up a little bit.
Hey, Chael, I have a question that's kind of media related. You've been putting out a lot of great stuff on your YouTube lately.
Right. That sounds like something I would do.
Yeah, so what made you go to that YouTube platform since you already have ESPN?
Money. Straight up capitalism, my friend. Yes.
Good answer.
You get clicks, you get PAID, and as it turns out, I like to get paid.
Chael, lyoto Machida said that he's noticed that you've been talking a little bit less for the anticipation of this fight compared to the others. On your end, can you tell us why maybe you may not be talking like as much as usually to hype up the fight?
No, I don't do that. I don't hype fights. That's a media creation. I don't sell fights. I don't hype fights. I don't manufacture conflict. If I don't mean it, I won't say it. I have never said anything about anybody that I did not mean and that I wasn't willing to answer for. As far as Machida goes, the guy has been a gentleman since I met him 10 years ago. His wife is pleasant. I've met his kids. He seems like a perfectly nice guy to me, and I just wouldn't say anything otherwise. And if that doesn't sell the fight, don't watch the goddamn fight.
I see. No, of course, you do have a good point there, but is that to say that maybe some of your other opponents have been a little bit more disrespectful towards you, and then maybe that's why you wanted to say some of the things that you said? That's
sure.
Why you had such certain intentions in the octagon against them.
Sure. No, it goes both ways. Sometimes I took the first punch at some of those guys, and sometimes they took the first punch at me. As far as Machida goes, he's just a very pleasant guy. And I don't have anything against him personally. This is a very competitive sport, and we have like-minded goals and dreams, and we're in the same weight class, and we're going to go fight. But that's it. This is skill-based. It's not based around a personal conflict, and I'm not going to make one up.
One thing I also wanted to ask you, we got the bare knuckle fighting championship, a battle of MMA versus boxing between Paulie Malignaggi and Artem Lobov. Through your eyes, which sport would you say is the most dangerous? Because both are making their case for both sports. So on your end, which one would you say?
Well, I'm compelled to see it, and I will support Artem in this fight, of course, as a mixed martial artist. But to answer your question, to fight a professional boxer, particularly a guy who used to be a world champion, in a boxing event with no gloves on, that takes a lot of balls. And throughout Artem's career, he only fights the best guys. And win or lose, it doesn't seem to matter to him. He just goes out there and fights really hard. So if you were to ask me, come on, Paulie's a former world champion. They're doing his sport, and they took gloves off.
So Chael, how many more years do you think we can expect to see you in the octagon? How much more do you think you have it in you?
I do not know how many years. I'm 42 years young. I'm not slowing down a bit. I'm not losing motivation. And there's still guys that I have a moral obligation to beat up. There's a lot of guys that need an ass whipping out there. Machida's not one of them. Somehow I ended up with Machida. He's not one of those guys. But there's a lot of guys that deserve it, and they're going to get it.
Who are some of those guys, if you don't know?
Right off the top of my head, there's a guy named Ryan and another guy named Bader. Top of my list. Grade A scumbag, and I'm coming for him.
Why is that? What did he do to you?
I can't. I'm not going to share with you right now. I will answer that question. Ryan, Bader and I have a past.
Right. So we will see that fight then after this one against Machida.
I got to beat Machida. I got to get through Machida. If I beat Machida, or if he beats me, it becomes the #1 contender.
Throughout your career, you competed in multiple weight classes. Which one's your favorite to compete at, and is that the same as the one you feel best at?
I like 205 pounds, and I probably feel my best at 205 pounds. Fighting at heavyweight was very fun for two reasons. One, you miss the stress. There's no stress. You don't have to weigh in, and that's a real thing. But two, you've got a built-in excuse, right? You got a built-in excuse, well, these guys are too big. And that also relieves some pressure and some stresses, if I'm being fair. But 205 pounds, I'm probably most competitive. I was the king of 185. I had no equal. Nobody could even win a round against me. So it was time to leave 185.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
Cool.
Phil. You're the man.
Pleasure.
I appreciate it.